Hey there, Care Monique here, and I want to welcome you to my channel. If you've been rocking with me for a minute, you know that my channel just took a pivot. If you are brand new here, you are about to learn exactly what I talk about on this channel. So I originally started this channel as a business coach and a serial entrepreneur. I own a shoe store as well as a cosmetic line, and I'm also a business coach for women entrepreneurs. Well, let's rewind a little bit because that is what I was doing in 2021. Now that we are in 2022, I have found my true purpose, my passion, and what it is that I am truly gifted to do. So this channel has now pivoted into my number one passion, which is designing. So I not only am going to be sharing design tips for those of you in the apparel, footwear, handbag, and accessories arena, but I am also moving my coaching business to strictly one-on-one coaching with those who want to design without going to formal school. I am a self-taught footwear and handbag designer, so I know exactly what it takes to get it done without spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and years and years and years in design school just to get your line launched. So I am moving my channel as well as my business to be along those lines, and I am super excited, and I can't wait for you to take this journey with me. If you are new here, please remember to like, subscribe to my channel as well as share this video. If you are not currently following me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram at Care Monique. I have lots of tips and fun stuff that I do on Instagram. And your girl just got a TikTok. So I am also on TikTok, and my name on TikTok is Care Monique. So follow me on TikTok as well, and let's have some fun on TikTok. I'm really going to use TikTok for the quick, fun videos to give you all the tools and tips that you need, and really to show the behind the scenes of my process as a footwear and handbag designer, because one of my goals is also to inspire those of you who want to get into this field, but you really don't know how. So in today's video, we are actually going to talk about the basics to designing women's footwear. So a lot of videos out there talk about designing footwear, but they talk about sneakers. I rarely find videos on how to design women's shoes for beginners or the quick tips and tools for that. So I'm going to cover a couple of things in this video. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a few minutes talking to you about the design process. And there are two ways that I recommend doing the design process. And then I'm also going to take you behind my computer, and we're going to do a little bit in that second part of the design process. So that's the second option that I'm going to give you, because I'm going to give you two options. All right, so let's jump right into this video. So the first thing that I want to talk to you all a little bit about is just the design process as a brand new designer, someone who has no background in women's footwear, and this also will apply to apparel as well. Now, jewelry and handbags is going to be a tiny bit different from what I share in this video, but you can still take some of these gems and apply it to jewelry, accessories, and handbags as well. But if you're thinking apparel or footwear for women, this video is definitely going to be for you. So the very first way and how I started my design journey was I looked at designs that my vendors already had, and I just manipulated pieces of those designs with my manufacturer. So there's a difference between a vendor and a manufacturer. So let's talk about that for a second. So a vendor is typically, so like if you've ever heard of the Fashion District in LA, or sometimes you might have a vendor on like Orange Shine or LA Showroom or Fashion Go, some of those platforms where you can purchase wholesale. So you can get designs from vendors, and they sell them in packs, so you can get designs and, you know, do whatever you want with them, resell them, use them as inspiration for your designs or things like that. And then you also have manufacturers. Now, manufacturers are the people and the companies that create the products that the vendors are selling. You, as a designer, would want to work with the manufacturer for your own designs. You only go through vendors typically when you are trying to do either private label their line of clothing, or you're just wholesaling their clothing line. So that I wanted to distinguish that a little bit before we jump right in. So I'm coming from the perspective today really of working with manufacturers. But there's a piece when I first started, I used vendors. So I would purchase from vendors some items that I really liked, like footwear that I really liked, and I would use those designs as my inspiration and my thought process for launching my line. So one of the companies that I really, really loved when I first started designing footwear was Cape Robin, because they designed so many styles of shoes. I eventually learned that a lot of their styles were revised or recreated versions of name brand shoes, but they were cheap, they were easy for me to acquire, and I could tear them up. Like, I encourage you to go somewhere, find a shoe you really like, put it in your budget, buy that shoe or that piece of clothing, and I mean, stretch it out, see how it feels. I counted the thread count in the sole, like how tight is their thread count for sewing their shoes together, or are they gluing their shoes together? What's inside of their heel? Is it hollow? Is it plastic? Is it a wooden heel? Are they using cardboard inside the foundation of their shoes? That was my very first start to designing. I found styles I really, really liked. I took a bunch of pictures of them, sent those to my manufacturer, and then I would tear them apart. And I would say, okay, I love that, this is a platform heel. I love that it's a 3-layer platform heel. They used a plastic bottom, a rubber sole, a plastic bottom, a cardboard layer, and then a cushion. And then I would use those details when I talked to my manufacturer. And my manufacturer at that time was really good at saying, okay, if you want a 3-layer platform, we already have these type of lasts made. So what a last is, when you talk about footwear, a last is actually the bottom of the shape of the shoe. So it's going to be, the part of the shoe, there's a part that's called the upper, and then there's a part that's called the last, or we typically just call it the bottom or the sole. But the actual shape of the shoe has to be built, and it's built into, they call that a mold, and they mold the last. So I used the cheapest route and the easiest route for me. So the cheapest route was for me to get shoes from other manufacturers to determine quality, things I liked, things I didn't like, and elements that I wanted to pull together in my designs. Took those to my manufacturer, and then my manufacturer, they already had certain types of styles, lasts, and stuff made, and I started off with that. So one of my very first designs was actually, when I started manufacturing my own, was actually a platform. It was a platform heel that my manufacturer, I'm going to try to put it right here, this was the version that my manufacturer sold. So what I did was, I was like, well, you already make this last, so you already have this. I wouldn't be charged a mold fee, because it was like $82 or something like that per size for molding, because you have to get a mold for each size, and I carry 7 sizes. I carry sizes 7 through 13, so I would have had to get 7 molds made. So that was quite a bit of money just for the molds. That wasn't even the shoes yet. So then I took what their design was, the last that they had it on, I changed the upper, and I told them I want to do this with my upper. And then the other thing is, I adjusted my sizing chart, because I manufacture outside of the country. And so when you manufacture outside of the country, you definitely want to ensure that the size measurements that they're using, because most other countries, we in the US and often in the UK, we measure in inches. Almost everywhere else is measuring in centimeters or millimeters. So it gets funky when you get into inches. So you want to make sure in both footwear and in apparel that the sizing chart that they're using is going to be equivalent to your sizing chart. The other thing is, when I first started manufacturing, I didn't realize that they were changing my sizes. So my sizes were in Chinese when I first started. And so the bottom of my shoe would say 44. And my customer has no idea what a 44 is. Even though I can convert a 44 to a size 11 and a half, they couldn't do that. And that was too much work. So that was something I learned quickly of, like, I need to make sure that they mold US sizes into my shoes. Because when I first started out, I was manufacturing in China, and they were just using all the cheapest resources that they could for what I was trying to get done. So that's the very first way that I recommend you start. If you can't draw, if you have no idea how to do anything, I recommend get inspired by other shoe designs. Okay, so the second way that you are going to design is through actual sketching and putting your designs into a program like Adobe Illustrator, You can even do, like when I tell y'all, there's some creative stuff that you can do in Canva as well. And I'll actually show you some tips on how to use Canva. I'll do a separate video on Adobe Illustrator because that's a whole nother beast in itself. But Canva is super cheap and super easy to use. So I'll do a quick tutorial behind the scenes for you all on how you can design a shoe in Canva. But the first thing you're going to do is you are going to sketch if you know how to sketch. If you don't, I'm not going to sketch on this video because I'm not an excellent sketcher. It takes me quite a while to sketch. I'm going to give you all tips on how to find someone to sketch if you don't know how. So Fiverr and Upwork are really, really good resources for you to use if you need to find someone to do sketches for you. You can even find like a local artist at like a college or something in your area that probably could add it to their portfolio or able to do it for super cheap. You just need to get your designs out of your head. If you are super creative, you can literally, when I started, I was drawing shapes. Like I would literally draw like a circle, a square, and like I would just kind of do whatever I could do to make it seem like I could get the idea out. And then I would let someone clean that up for me, and then you're able to tweak from there. So that's my first recommendation for doing it the proper way, would be to start with a sketch. Then you would put that sketch into Adobe Illustrator or Canva. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you jump behind my computer with me, and we're going to hop into Canva, and we are going to design a basic women's sandal in Canva, and then I'm going to show you how you would go into the next proper step for getting it to your main.
So I am behind the screen in Canva. So Canva is just Canva.com. And what I am about to do is I am actually going to show you how I create a design just using graphics in Canva to get ideas out of my head. I will also leave a link in the description box for Canva below. So you would just click this create a design button, and then you would click Instagram post, and it's going to take you it's actually going to take you to a blank template. And on this blank template, what you're going to do, or shall I say what I really like to do, is I like to click on elements over here in the left hand side. So I would click on that. And then whatever idea is in your head, I don't want you to overthink it. I would type that into the box. So I did this earlier, and I had to re-record this video because I was recording the wrong screen. So some of my stuff will be here already, but I would just type in. So let's say I have a platform sandal in mind, like I know that it's going to be some type of platform sandal. I would type in platform heel. I just clicked on it, and I would actually hit graphics because I want to see the graphic one. So I'm going to move me over here though, so because I don't need to be there. And we're going to see if we see any that just kind of ring a bell for us. So I'm going to scroll back up. None of those ring a bell. So instead of platform heel, I might say women's platform sandal. So literally you would just type in what you're thinking and see what pops up. Okay, so for me, this is a good one. I'm thinking of an actual platform, but I know a trick. Since this is not a platform, this is flat, I know a trick to make it a platform. So what I would do is I would take this basic drawing, I would just leave it black, this graphic, because this is like, this is the silhouette that in my mind that I want. And then what I would do is I would go and find a shoe that actually does have a platform on it, and I would add that to this. So remember, it doesn't have to be super great because you're just getting the idea out of your head so that you can get this either to a designer or to your manufacturer and their design team. So I just typed in platform heel again, and I'm going to see, so this shoe right here has a heel that I really like. So that's a platform. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the crop button, and I'm actually going to crop this down to just that one platform right here. I'm going to crop it as clean as I can. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to stretch it, and I'm going to rotate it a little bit so that, you want it to fit as good as you can. And I'm going to put that there. Now, I know for a fact that this platform looks crazy on a heel this short. If I wanted to show them that I wanted the heel to be the proper height and all of that, I would actually, I'm just going to go back to this elements tab, and I'm just going to go get an actual, like a square, empty square. So I would go where lines and shapes are. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm just going to grab like a hollowed out square shape, and I am going to just elongate the heel. So of course that's way too long. And then you're going to put instructions on this. So this is just for the purposes of getting the idea out. It doesn't have to look perfect, look great, any of that. So now I've elongated that heel. And let's say I don't want this bow at the top. Let's say I want this shoe to have feathers. Let's do feathers. So what I'm going to do is, since I can't erase that, because usually in edit image, there's a way for you to like remove the background or remove certain elements. Since this is a graphic, it's not going to let me, but I could still crop down as much of this bow out of the shoe that I want. So I'm going to crop that down, and then I'm going to get a white square, and I'm going to turn this white just to black out that the leftover bow that's right there. And then now, let's say I want to put feathers on the back of this shoe. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to type in feathers. And then I'm going to get feathers. So here's a perfect feather. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to put that, let's make that a little smaller. And we're going to do 3 feathers. So let's say that's what we wanted the back of this shoe to look like. And if you want to be technical, you can position it behind the picture and all of that. I don't necessarily have to go that deep, but I'm going to do it anyway. I just click position and hit backwards, and it'll move the feathers behind the shoe so that you can see that it's the back of the shoe. And if this is getting in the way, you can move this feather, this third feather, we can move this forward so that it looks a little more complete, but we don't have to worry about that. Actually, we do. Let's worry about that a little bit. Okay. So actually that looks good. That doesn't look that bad. So we'll have some feathers, and then let's say we wanted to do a strap. So you would just type in whatever it is you want, and I am going to go get this strap right here. Will do just fine for this purpose. And I'm gonna rotate that a little bit, put that strap right there, and instead of a gold buckle, let's make it silver or gray to hollow it out a little bit. And now you see, even though it's not a perfect design, the idea that I had in my head for a strap feather platform heel, now it's real. Like it makes sense. Like somebody would be able to fix or sketch this, or you could put this in Adobe Illustrator if you have that skill set, and create that. When I started moving from the first method I told you all, and I moved to starting to kind of have ideas of my own, I went into Canva and I made this up on my own. I was like, I use Canva, let me figure it out. And I started doing designs like this. And from here, I was able to get someone to put them into Adobe Illustrator and create my designs for me. So this is a cheat way to do it if you can't draw, or if you have no idea how to truly use any of the technical programs that they would teach you in formal school. This will do the job. You can literally give this type of graphic to a manufacturer and say, can you give this to your design team? Here's my ideas. And you would actually write out all of your specs. So you would say what kind of feathers, how big, you would say how long the heel height and all that. You would give them all the details to go with this, but they'd be able to give you a real sketch of it. So I just want to show you all another way to get the ideas out your head. I don't want you all to be scared or to think that, oh, I can't draw, so I can't design. You can do this same thing with apparel. You can grab a t-shirt or something, or a dress, put it in here, put your other designs and stuff on top of it, shapes, lines, all of that, just to get it out of your head. So I hope that this was super helpful for you all. I was going to show you all the tech pack in this video, but I'll create a separate video because many of you are going to want to stop now and start to play around in Canva or sketching or whatever and do your designs. And I think that's a really good idea. So thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment and a thumbs up if you really enjoyed this, and I will see you all in the next video.